I know, right? Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Tony Vinchelle with the Stronger You Fitness, ASU Fit, and the Becoming a Stronger You movement. Back to you this week with some more information on helping you fit your fitness and nutrition into your busy lifestyle. So, before we begin, I have a little bit of housekeeping as always. So I have one camera right here in front of me with all of the people in Facebook land for Facebook Live. And then I have another camera here to my left in front of me with the actual raw recording of this Facebook Live video. So I will do my absolute best to make sure that I give both cameras the attention that they deserve. And with that being said, I would like to go ahead and get into our subject for today. By the way, if you are in Facebook land watching this on Facebook Live, hop in and say hi. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you are watching from. I'd love to meet you if I have not already met you before. So, pulling out my pink, my pink folder, so you all know I like the color pink. Very interesting story though. I actually used to hate the color pink. Hated the color pink. I didn't have pink anything. When I was growing up, my mom tried to get me to wear pink things and buy pink things, and I absolutely did not like the color pink. And when I was in my third pregnancy with my third child, I was told originally by my first physician that she was a boy. And so I had purchased all of this blue and green and yellow and all of these different colors. And I ended up switching physicians in my last trimester of that pregnancy. And I went in for a checkup. I remember it was one of my first checkups. And so, we're looking at the ultrasound and she's like, oh, your baby is doing so well. Your baby girl is doing so well. And I was like, baby girl? Okay. But it was so funny because it was like immediately after I heard that I was having a baby girl, all of a sudden pink became my absolute favorite color. So anyway, that's just a fun story that I wanted to share with you on my pink nails and my gloss in my pink folder. Okay. So today, actually, let me go ahead and give you a breakdown of what we are going to be discussing this week. So this week is all about calories. We are going to be talking about the calories that you are burning, how many calories you are absorbing, how to burn calories, what's preventing you from burning calories, what could be causing you to absorb more calories than the average person or somebody who's not in your situation. So this week is all about calories. So today we are going to be discussing why calorie counting is not working for you. So today I'm going to be giving you 5 reasons as to why counting calories may not be working for you. Tomorrow's topic, which will be at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time here on Facebook Live, I am going to be discussing 5 factors that affect. Hey Tamisha, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me today. So tomorrow, I will be discussing 5 different factors that affect how many calories your body is actually able to burn. And that's going to be a really interesting topic. So hopefully you stay tuned for that tomorrow. On Wednesday, I'm going to be discussing how what you eat and how you are eating is affecting the number of calories that your body is able to burn. Okay? On Thursday, I'm going to be discussing how your weight history affects the number of calories that you are burning. So we're going to be talking about metabolic memory. We're going to be talking about some of those diets that you were on in previous years and how that is affecting your current ability to be able to burn calories. And then on Friday, I'm going to give you 5 tips that you can start using immediately to help you burn more calories throughout the day. So if you notice the theme of what's going on with these weeks in these videos, what I'm doing is I'm taking the first part of the week to educate you, because it would be awesome for me to start off and give you five different ways that you can burn calories, or 5 different ways that you can start burning fat today. But I think it's important that I provide you with the education, because you can find these kinds of tips all the time. You can find them everywhere, but they're not giving you the full story and helping you really understand how to customize this thing for your body, and how your history, your genetics, your lifestyle actually affects your ability to be able to utilize these tips. So that is the purpose of that, and hopefully you guys will stay tuned with me for the entire week. Hello to the second person who's with me live. Say hi if I have not already met you before, and if I have, say hi anyway. Okay, so again, today, 5 different reasons why calorie counting or counting calories may not be working for you. So here's number 1. The first reason is that there are actually 5 different methods that can be used to estimate the number of calories in each different food item. So that's 5 different methods. On top of that, the FDA allows for there to be a 20% error in the calorie estimation of each food item. So what does that mean? That means that if you pick up a food item and you're reading the label, or you go to a database and you say, how many calories are in this fruit, or how many calories are in this vegetable. And let's say you pick up a food item and the food item says that it has 150 calories. The problem is, because of that error margin, that food item could either be 130 calories or it could be 180 calories. And so if you're building a meal plan solely based on the number of calories that are in each food item from the research that you are doing, either by reading the labels or by going to these different databases, you could theoretically be eating 20% fewer calories than you need, pushing your body closer towards that feeling of starvation. Or you could be eating 20% more calories than you need, or than you should eating, preventing you from losing the weight that you want to lose. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that we don't consume all of the calories in the food that we eat. So if a food item says that, yes, that is a huge difference. Absolutely, Tamisha, that is a huge difference. So the problem is, if you, let's go back to this food item that's 150 calories, okay, 150 calories. Your body may only absorb about 60 to 65% of those calories. And depending on the food item, especially when you are dealing with protein sources, there's a lot of variability as to the actual number, the actual percentage of those calories your body is going to be absorbing. And so you may be absorbing more calories than you think you are, meaning that you may not lose the weight as quickly as you thought you were going to lose it. Or you may be absorbing fewer calories than you calculated you would be eating, meaning that your body is moving towards that state of starvation. And of course, when I say state of starvation, that's a very extreme example, but it becomes a problem when people are following these diets on the internet that say eat 1,000 to 1,200 calories. Okay, if you're going to follow something like that, which I don't think that you should, 1,000 to 1,200 is not a magic number. And for most people, 1,000 to 1,200 calories is far fewer than what you need to be eating, and could cause some issues for you metabolically. But let's say you were to follow one of those meal plans. If you have the body type, or if you have the type of flora or the type of epigenetic situation that only allows you to absorb about 60% of those calories, then if you are on a 1,000 calorie diet, or you think you are on a 1,000 calorie diet, you may very well only be absorbing 600 of those calories throughout the day. So you already thought that you were putting yourself in a caloric deficit, and now you have to realize that you may be putting yourself into a dangerous caloric deficit because your calorie count or the calories on that meal plan were already low, and then your body is not absorbing all of those. So for example, in almonds, the average person typically only absorbs about 68% of those calories. So think about that in the grand scheme of your meal plan and all of these meal plans that you're pulling from the internet, or these photo blocks that people are putting up on Facebook or on Instagram, you know, the 1,500 calorie diet that's going to help you burn all of this fat. Think about that. So you're already looking at a 20, and actually in the era of calorie counting, it's 20 to 50%. FDA allows for 20. So you're already looking at 20 to 50% in the error in the amount of calories that you're reading on the label. And now you're dealing with the fact that your body may not even be absorbing all of those calories. So what you're calculating is not actually what's happening. Okay? Moving on to number 3. Whenever you cook your food or chop your food into smaller pieces, or blend your food, for example, if you're making a stew or a soup or a smoothie, then you actually make more of those calories available for absorption. So remember, a couple of minutes ago I said that the average person may only absorb about 68% of the calories in a handful of almonds. So I might say that, and you may say, okay, I'm going to go and research all of the food items that I eat, and I'm going to figure out exactly how much the average person absorbs, and then I'm going to build my calorie counting and my meal plan based off of that. Well, the problem is the labels do not reflect the fact that when you cook, chop, or blend your food, you actually allow for more calories to be available for absorption. So with those almonds, if the average person is only absorbing about 68% on average, and you take those almonds and you grind them into a smoothie, or you grind them and use them as a topping for a stew or something of that nature, then you may actually absorb 70 to 75, maybe even 80% of those calories. And there's really no way to account for that. So that's something else that you need to keep into consideration. Number 4 is very interesting because most of us don't really know this about ourselves. The type of gut flora or bacteria that you have in your gut determines how much you actually absorb when you're eating your food. So for example, people who have a higher proportion of what's called the Firmicutes gut bacteria, that particular bacteria, those people will typically absorb up to 150 calories more per day than the person who has a higher proportion of a different kind of bacteria. And so again, you're working with numbers that may not be correct. You're working with a situation where you may be absorbing more or less in terms of the amount of calories that you're eating. And then again, you don't really know a lot about what kind of bacteria you have in your gut. So you don't know if you are on the higher end of the spectrum when it comes to absorbing more of those calories. And those things are important because if you are absorbing more calories than what is necessary for you to lose weight, if you're absorbing so many calories that you're not actually in a caloric deficit when you think you are, then it is going to be very difficult for you to lose the weight. And so there are people who say, I was on this meal plan, I did this, I ate everything that I was supposed to, and I still didn't lose weight. Well, you don't really know how much it is that you are absorbing. Because it's not what you eat that counts, it's what you are absorbing that counts. And this is one of the reasons why when you have a lot more flexibility with yourself on the weekends, I'm not going to call them cheat days, I don't like that word, but sometimes you will be really, really compliant with your diet Monday through Friday. And you're super, super, super compliant, getting in all of your vegetables, getting in all of your vitamins, your nutrients. Yes, Tisha, yes, it absolutely is true. It absolutely is true. You may be getting all of your vitamins and all of your nutrients. You do really, really well Monday through Friday. And then Friday evening, you say, I did really, really well. I deserve this, which is a completely different issue when it comes to mindset. And that's something that I'll discuss later. This whole idea of rewarding yourself with food or rewarding yourself with alcohol because you feel like you've done well. So you're rewarding yourself by saying, I'm going to take myself to this restaurant and I'm going to have this and I'm going to eat whatever it is that I want, not understanding where you are on the spectrum that determines how much of that food you are absorbing. And then you come in for your weigh-in on Monday and you wonder why you have not lost any weight. Or you take your before and after pictures and you're wondering why nothing is changing, right? Because if you were literally almost near starvation mode because you weren't really absorbing the majority of what you were eating during the week, and then all of a sudden on the weekend you got all this food coming in, right? And your body thinks that it's been in starvation mode, and now you got all these goodies coming in, your body is holding on to that. So when you come in for your weigh-in on Monday, or you take your measurements on Monday, or you look at your before and after pictures and you realize there's really no difference between the before and the after, these are some of the things that you are not considering. Now, I know one of the next questions that I'm going to get is, well, how do I find out what kind of gut bacteria I have? And so one of the things that you may want to ask your physician about, or your registered dietitian, if your registered dietitian has access to different types of lab work, is you may want to ask about having a microbiome analysis done. Okay, so I'll say that again, that's a microbiome analysis. And basically what they're going to do is take a stool sample and they're going to analyze the type of bacteria you have in your gut. And so, for example, if you have that analysis done and you find out that you do have a higher proportion of that Firmicutes bacteria, then now you understand yourself a little bit better and you say, okay, I have a higher proportion of this particular bacteria, which means that I am probably going to absorb up to 150 calories more per day than the average person. Now, how do you get these types of exams? Again, ask your physician, talk to your registered dietitian. There are quite a few companies that are doing some pilot testing with these kinds of tests. It's more available in Europe, but you still may want to ask your physician, your general practitioner, or your registered dietitian about having something like that done, just so that you have a better understanding of yourself, okay? And then number 5 is this. So not all measuring devices are made the same. So you'll look up a particular food item and it'll say there are 200 calories in 2 tablespoons of this grain. The problem is not all measuring devices are created the same. And so a tablespoon made by one brand may be slightly higher or slightly bigger or slightly smaller than a tablespoon made by another brand. 1/4 of a cup made by one brand, those little measuring cups that come on the bracelet looking like hook and you can flip through the cups. So 1/4 of a cup with one brand may be slightly bigger or smaller than a quarter of a cup made by another brand. And so even though you think you are measuring your food, because I'm measuring my food to a T, you may not be getting a quarter of a cup. You may be getting just a little bit more than a quarter of a cup. You may not be getting a full tablespoon. You may be getting just a little bit less than a full tablespoon. And so all of these things are things that we have to take into consideration. Now, does this mean that calorie counting is 100% bad and that nobody should ever do it? No, but I say this because most people who are looking to lose weight, most of you do not need and will not follow proper calorie counting anyway. I'm just going to be honest. Most of you are not going to be do it. You are not going to be able to do it. You don't have the time. You don't have the resources. You don't have the time to do the research. You don't have time for that. And so there are other ways to do this without calorie counting. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit later this week is on the calorie counting devices and how those have a margin of error as well, because there's this issue with me counting the number of calories that I'm taking in and then me using my device to count the number of calories that are going out. And so we're going to talk about that because it's important to note that when you're using these measuring technologies or these measuring methods, that they should be used as a guideline and that there is a margin of error on all ends. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back very quickly over the five factors that I just discussed. Number one, there are 5 different methods that can be used to estimate the number of calories in the food item, and the FDA allows up to a 20% error. So what you are reading on the label could be 20% fewer calories or 20% higher. Okay, that's one challenge. Number 2, we do not consume all of the calories that we eat. Number 3, whenever you cook, chop, or blend your food, you make more of those calories available, and the labels that you are reading do not reflect that. Number 4, your own specific gut bacteria determines how many calories you are going to absorb, which means that the number of calories absorbed is different based on each individual person. And then number 5, the 5th challenge, the 5th factor, or the 5th reason why calorie counting may not be working for you is because not all measuring devices are made the same. One measuring device by one brand company could be completely different from one measuring device from another brand. And so these are some of the things that you need to be taking into consideration. I hope this was helpful. If any of you have any questions here for me in Facebook land, please go ahead and pop those in. And while I wait on the questions, the information that I am pulling for this week's lesson is a part of another infographic that is a part of what it is that I provide you all with education. It's a part of another infographic about counting calories. So if you go to www.asufit.com/for-busy-professionals. Well, thank you, Tamisha. Thank you. I'm so glad that was helpful. Again, that's www.asufit.com/for-busy-professionals. If you go to that link, you will have the opportunity to download the very first infographic in the series, which is Fitness and Nutrition for the Busy Professional. And then a few days after that, you will receive a couple of more resources. And one of those resources is the calorie counting infographic. So you will be able to receive that information as well. You can find my information on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at A Stronger You. So that's ASTRONGERU, the letter U. You can find these videos on my YouTube channel, and you can also listen to this episode on podcast on SoundCloud. So that's www.soundcloud.com/ASUFit. So those are several different ways, several different methods that you can use to get the information that we talked about today. And don't forget that you can catch me every Monday through Friday at 12 noon Central Standard Time, where I will be giving you education, tips, and strategies on how you can add fitness and nutrition into your busy lifestyle. So with that being said, I don't see that there are any questions in Facebook land. If you happen to come up with any questions after this broadcast is done, go ahead and type them below, and I will definitely get to them when I am able to do so as quickly as possible. So anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I love you all, and until we speak again, stay strong, stay beautiful, and always, always, always work towards becoming a stronger you. Peace out.